Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Nova Aetas Renaissance video. This is for the crossover with the Ashes magazine. So the Ashes magazine are produced by Ludus Magnus Studios, that creates all the Nova Aetas Chronicles games, all the various stuff. So the magazines have various stuff. I've done videos in the past on each magazine that I have and what's in them. So if you already watched them, you're going to see the exact same content. You actually see less because I'm only going to go over the Nova Aetas stuff in here. But why you might want to watch it is because I'm going to do all of the ones. I think it's 4 different issues, 4 different types of characters and stuff in this video. They're all together. Might be five different things actually. So 5 different things. But I also didn't have Nova Aetas at the time I did those videos, so I didn't quite know what all this stuff was or how to talk about all of it. So now I went through unboxing. I just did. If you haven't checked out the rest of the videos in this series, I've done like 8 or 9 videos on this set, so I have a little bit more understanding. So we're gonna jump in and we're gonna look at from issue number 8. We have a brand new hero to play as. And find that page on there. We have Fabio. So Fabio takes the hero. Other equipment play as an architect in his basic class or an antiquary engineer in his advanced classes. You can create equipment cards, automaton cards, relics, barricade tokens, and automaton tokens. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at Fabio. So we have a new class to play as. New heroes are always fun to get. So yeah, why not have one? So we have him as, and there's his miniature. So you pick up the magazine, you'll get both these. I believe you do have to build him though, glue him together, but still cool. So he definitely looks like, I like that he almost looks like he could be one of the guards or people, especially from Venice. From one of their things, but yes, we're going to get a new type of character. So we have an architect. So we have had warriors, we've had rogues, we've had magic casters doing necromancy and chronomancy, we've had bards, druid spells, stuff like that. So now we're getting some of the, we've even had an assassin. So now we're getting a guy that's an architect. So there's guys going to play around more with like Da Vinci type stuff, creating things, which I think is going to be a really fun mechanic of the game. So here's his base stat line. He can use one of his 2 greens he doesn't get access to. So let's see what his stats are, or what he does. So he has precision shot, says +2 time, it's an upgrade. If this attack is performed with a flintlock, it gains +1 range, and you roll 1 additional die. So if you give him his flintlock, which might be one of his starting equipment, I believe, yes, as long as you don't switch out of it, he gains an extra bonus for that. You might want to later, just better abilities and stuff like that. Quick reload. Pay 3. Discard a reload token from your weapons. If you do, gain a shielded token. Now, you might be like, why would I pay 3 to do a reload when reloads are either 1 or 2? And the reason would be because I believe you can't do a reload token. I think you can use it whenever you want, but the fact you get a shielded token, so you pay 1 more to gain a shielded token, isn't a bad thing. Plus, you might be able to actually fire it again in the same round, depending on where you're at. So I think the other reload would have to wait till the beginning of your turn, if I remember right. He has Barricade. Pay 2 time. You may place 1 Barricade token, see the rules, up to 3 uses per mission. So he is going to get these little tiny barricade tokens that he can build. Double-sided, little like barbed wire, one side's town side, one side's rural side. Yeah, so little fences on there. They're really neat. I also didn't show up, but he will have his activation token as well, of course. He has some other tokens as well, but we'll get them when we get there. So what does the barricade do? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Barricades can be placed on any of the four sides occupied by Fabio. Barricades are considered obstacles, do not obstruct line of sight, but block movement between 2 squares that share a line of it. So you kind of see there was like a line in the middle of that because it goes on the border between a square somewhere. The last site, if the last site has been attacked, either physical or psychic, cross the barrier, apply the following effects. Attack against enemies. Reroll a die that obtained a success of your choice. So you can still see guys, but if you attack, the enemy attacks you, they have to reroll a die of your success. You get a chance to do it. If you attack against heroes, if they're attacking you, reroll a die that obtain a failure of your choice. The effect of the barricade has no effect if it has 2 models that come in contact with it. Moreover, the barricade counter as an obstacle can be ignored by models with the sniping skill. So what it does is it just puts it in there so you're a little bit harder to hit. Like they have to reach over this thing to try and hit you. But if you're right next to each other, they can just reach over and smack you very easily. He has focus, so he pays 2 to gain a battle focus token, which is a brand new upgrade. So it's battle focus. The hero who receives this token may choose it to use it to exclude one of their dice from any of their attacks or defense die. The die excluded must be placed on the token without changing its result. A hero may add that die placed on the battle focus to the result of a test during an attack or defense test. If they do, discard the token. So he's going to hand out these tokens, or he gets these tokens. And then when you do an attack or a defense test, you can pull one of your dice off and put it on here. So this might be helpful if, like, let's say you only needed 2 successes and you got 3. For like a defense test. You might pull up one of the higher successes, save it for a later thing. Additionally, same thing, like you're doing an attack. Psychic attack, definitely, because you're going to have extra die. But even if you do like a melee attack, a physical, and each time you hit, it's a damage. But if they only have 2 health and you're going to do 3 damage, you can save one of the dice for later. So that's fun. Extra upgrades. He has a secret passage. Exiting location cards does not cost you time. When you are in a location card, you have 1 reroll on each test you perform. So that's kind of neat. That he knows how. It's a character specifically to use those location cards. The only thing is, if you don't know if you're going to come across those or not, and you can only use one of your 2 green abilities, do you pick that or do you pick the other one? Which is the other one is climb. You may go up and down 1 height level without spending time and without suffering damage. So basically, if you're outside buildings, he can move around a lot quicker. If you're inside a building, he can do stuff in there a little bit better. So it's kind of a fun mixture between the 2, if you know what mission you're going to be doing. And maybe if you read like the mission prologue, you might have some idea. Like, hey, we're looking for something. Probably going to a building. Hey, we're defeating this enemy or keeping them away from this thing. Probably not going inside. And on the bottom for his special ability is concentration. Is +1 for each time you perform an attack with the sniper skill. And then 3, you can spend all heroes on the battlefield get a battlefield token. So that's nice, you can then pass them out as well, which is why you have 4 of them. Although if you have 6 people, you just have to probably use something else. They didn't anticipate for that. Alright, then he can upgrade to his blue side, which is his engineer. So if he wants to become an engineer, he gains 3 red, but he only has 1 blue, 1 pink, 1 green. So he's got a lot more attack stuff. But yeah, like he already has 3 pink and 3 green, so he's only going to pick one of them. But yeah, so let's see what those do for us. So he has Sharpening the Blade. Passive. At the beginning of your activation, you may place an advantage token on one of your flintlocks. You can discard this token only for attacks against enemies adjacent to you. Neat. So he basically like adds a blade to the beginning of his gun, so if someone gets close to you, can stab them. Improved connection. Pay 5 time. One of your automatons immediately attacks with 2 physical damage. Or test. So let's at the automatons in just a minute here. Self-destruct. Pay 2. Choose one of your automatons on the battlefield. Perform a test as an attack with 5 dice for each model within 4 spaces of the automaton. Then remove it from the battlefield. Success threshold on attack is always 5+, both heroes and enemies. Each model that suffers at least 1 damage also receives a burn token. So he's going to place these tokens on the field, these automatons. So we don't actually have miniatures, we just have little tokens, but that's still cool. We've seen those before. And you can blow them up, which is really cool. He has metal armor. Choose one of your blender or scrapper automatons. It is considered to have its characteristics increased by 2. Psychic characteristics increased by 2. Scrappers. Place or pay 3. Remove your blender automaton from the battlefield. Replace the blender automaton token with 2 scrapper automatons. The second token must be adjacent to the first. So it makes a big one, and now you can split it up. And then his last one is Toretto Boost. Pay 2 time for each of your automatons getting runner until this activation, which means they can, every time they move, they get to move 2 spaces. So cool. His big special down here in the corner is Grand Designer. He's +1 each time an automaton inflicts at least 1 damage with an attack. He can pay 4 to remove all automatons, if any, from the battlefield. Place a blender automaton in any square adjacent to, so you can kind of like scrap one to make a new one. We will look at those after we look at the last thing, because the special cards that go with the equipment is how they summon them. But let's look at his other class first. So if he doesn't want to be building stuff, he can be an antiquary, which means he's collecting things. He has relics and stuff he's going to get to use. So this is a completely interesting class because it is very passive. So he gains 2 red, 2 pink, and 2 green. He has no blue, so he loses all his blue slots. But he has double shot. Pay 1, upgrade. Perform an attack on your second target other than the first with your flintlock without spending time. The second attack cannot be upgraded in any way. So cool. Double shot's really fun. Piercing shot. Attacks that successfully perform using a flintlock inflict 1 additional damage. Ancient Knowledge. You may use up to 2 relics during your activation, so we'll see what those do when we look at the equipment. Relic Hunter. Pay 1 time. You may discard 1 reagent from the loot to draw 1 relic from your deck. So we did have the Alchemist, that was kind of like that too. We gotta spend reagents to do stuff. He's gonna get to do that with relics. Treasure Hunter. When you have to draw from the relic deck, you can drop the 2 cards and choose 1 to equip. Place the other one at the bottom of the deck. And Smoke in the Eyes. Before performing a movement action, choose an enemy on the battlefield. Until the end of the movement, you do not suffer reaction attacks from the chosen enemy. Cool. Just like a little smoke bomb out. His special ability is pay gets 1 each time you use the effect of a relic. Pay 4, shuffle all relics in the discard pile back into the relic deck. Draw 2 immediately. During this activation, you use 2 relics, drawing thanks to the skill, paying their cost of 1 less to use. So cool. He's got some relics to get to use. So let's look at his equipment, and then we'll go over what some of these things do. So for his starting class, and I've sleeved all my cards. So for his starting class as the Architect, he has his Flintlock, which we talked about a bunch. So he has Reload 2 and Pierce. And Pierce always does, or it can't be blocked, so they're going to take damage. But yeah, shoots 1 to 5, that's pretty cool. He gets Measurement Tools. Pay 1. Your attacks performed with a Flintlock gain Sniper until the end of your activation. Reaction 1. The attacks of a hero within 4 range gain Sniper. So that's kind of neat. So you could give yours so you can avoid terrain or trees or other models, and you can shoot through things. So if you have a big guy who has protection, it's maybe trying to block for damage, you could snipe through them, or you could hand it to somebody else. And then he has Leather Vestments. It's just getting a resistance to 1, so 1 extra damage. If we jump over to the Engineering class, he is going to have a blade gun. So it says 2 Pierce and Reloading. Now, it's not the Flintlock anymore, so he doesn't gain all the Flintlock abilities, but you might want to gain it to have that bleeding effect. Did I mess this up here? I sometimes do that. Antiquary. Nope. Okay, so, oops, I just put that card away. He does have his toolbox, which actually starts with, that's when he starts with, pay 2 time, perform a psychic test for each sun or moon in automaton adjacent to discards 1 damage token, so you can heal his guys. Did And then the last one he has is, it says Antiquary. So that's not right. One sec. Alright, here's his last one. This had an error on the back. I think on the back it says Antiquary on the back, but it's supposed to be Engineer because there's a blue card. It says Modification Projects. Before attacking with one of your automatons, roll one die and add the corresponding effect. Blind, Devastating Burn, and takes 1 damage. Cool. So, let's look at the automatons before we jump to our last class. So, we have the Scrapper automaton. So, it's going to have a lot of the statistics like a lot everything else has. Its movement, or stuff like that. Its attacking defense, and its health. So, as a physical attack, can target an enemy. Does bleed damage. And then the other one we have is the Blender automaton. It's like ball and chains on here. It says 5, 2, 3, and 5. Does 3, can target anybody. This attack affects every model in its range. Enemies are hit with a success threshold of 5, regardless of their defense. Heroes suffer 2 damage from an attack, must perform a defense test with a success of 6 threshold. It just spins around and hits whoever. I am confused by this because the Scrapper here is showing like it attacks your characters. So I don't know why you would drop that down. But let's see what that says on the back here. It's the same for both of them. It's just explaining how automatons work. So automatons are machines created by the engineer to help them battle. Automatons use their own time to generate their own dial to generate time, but can use fabulous activation token. The hero can choose whether to activate them before or after his activation. The activation of a miniature must be completed before the moving on to its next one. Automatons have Prelium, plus 1 fabulous. Automatons gain damage token each time they inflict damage. Gain 1 damage token each time an effect inflict damage to them. When the number is equal to their health, it's destroyed and removed from the battlefield. Can only be discarded by specific effects. So they do get their own damage counters. So they have just little like wooden rusty ones, rusty metal. Just that way you can keep track of their stuff. So we do have here. So it says automatons are immune to all status effects except for burned and shielded effects. Burned automatically with token suffers 2 wounds at the end of activation and discards a boon. Shielded is carried by all skills that affect against shielded token. So yeah, they can hand out shielded stuff doing that. I was trying to see what he had to actually summon an automaton. Am I missing the thing that says that? Probably in his Destiny card. Okay, I'm not sure if it listed somewhere, I just missed it, but he starts with both of his Scrappers on the field. So then basically you just start with these guys, and then your options are, you can then use this to remove all of them from the field and place the Blender on the field, so then you can upgrade to the Blender, and then later you can always use Scrappers to scrap it back into the 2 tokens. And then you can kind of keep going back and forth from there. But if ever, for any reason, all of them are destroyed, then they're destroyed. It looks like there's no way to actually make more of them. So it kind of gives him an extra early advantage, but if they get lost, he's kind of out of luck. Alright, then we have our equipment for his Antiquary class, which is going to be start with his relic bag. So pay 1 to draw 1 relic from the relic deck. So he's going to have a special relic deck. He has a ritual like, pay 1 time, an enemy within 5 range gains marked and distracted upkeep 2, so you have to pay time every time you keep doing this, otherwise they lose it. And then Replicator, passive. You can put the discard relic card back into the relic deck once per mission. So how do relic cards work? Very interesting. I lost the page already. Alright, so relics are using the effect of a relic backpack, and you draw a card from your relic deck. After you draw a relic, it must be equipped in an accessory slot of your encumbrance. When you use an effect, but all the slots of encumbrance are already occupied, you have to make a choice to discard or replace it. You may use effect of only one relic per activation, except where otherwise specified using your ancient knowledge skills, paying the cost indicated on the card. Relics used must be discarded, placed in uncovered next to the relic deck, forming a discard. You not use the effect of a relic unless it is equipped. An effect such as the Replicator does not specify how to put the relic card back in a corresponding pile. It must be randomly shuffled. So he's going to have a pile of relics. So these are special items that he gets to use that all have costs. So let's go ahead and look at these. They're all really cool ideas here. So we have Nerf Achilles Beetle. So you can pay 2 until the start of your next activation. All heroes and enemies cannot use psychic attacks, spells, prayers, and physical attacks against non-adjacent targets. Then discard this card. So you can't use any psychic attacks, spells, prayers, and physical attacks. So it shuts down most of your attacking stuff for a turn. Quetzalcoatl's Medallion. Pay 0 to gain Runner until the end of this activation, then discard this card. Longius's Spear. Pay 4 to inflict 3 unblockable damage to an enemy line of sight, then discard this card. Dante's Pen. Pay 2 to immediately use the effect of a skill equipped by another hero within 4 spaces, then discard this card. That's crazy. Columbus's Compass. Pay 4, an enemy within 6 spaces gains blinded token and must perform a forced movement 5 squares in a random direction, then discard this card. Caesar's Eagle. Pay 3, all heroes immediately perform 2 dashes, then discard this card. And Alexander's Visor. Pay 0, place an advantage and lucky token on your weapon, then discard this card. So that's really neat. So it's like, it's kind of like, do you want to give him like extra little minions to go around and do stuff, or do you want to have him kind of become like this cool support character where he's just gonna more or less, he doesn't really have any like really, I mean, he has some attacks with his flintlock, but that's about it. Like really everything else is just kind of like getting these relics and using them to boost everybody else up. So that's a really neat mechanic for him. Alright, so then we're going to hop into the next Ashes magazine here. And see what we have there. I'm going to move all. Oh wait, I didn't look at it. He does have his Destiny card, which I'm not going to go over, but he has the 6 Destiny cards. So he gets those as well. Alright, so for Ashes issue number 9, we have Ravizon. So let me grab him. So he is from the game Blood, which is another game taking place in the same time period. We get a little cool miniature for him. And it's a smaller version of the one that'll appear in Blood. I think the Blood one will be a lot bigger. I think. I'm not positive on that, but I think they're a lot bigger. But he's a vampire. So we get a fight against a vampire who has vampire rules. So he's a side mission that you can fight in the game. I didn't mention, I guess I should have quick, but with Fabio here, he does have in the Ashes magazine, so you might want to like either tear this out or copy it. He does have his Destiny information as well. So it might be worth pulling that out. But yeah, here we have Ravizon. He has his own promo mission, which will be P2 Night Stalkers. This is actually a fun, interesting mission. But a side mission, follow 2 and step 3 of the exploration missions, excluding step 1. After drawing an enemy faction, randomly choose an enemy monster rank via draft. The drawn monster will add a special rule to the faction that allows this mission. You always choose Ravizon. So this special mission, it says, defeat the monster if you're defeated or it strikes 10 monsters not been defeated. Retreat. During the activation of any hero, you may decide that this party withdraws from the mission. In this case, read this. So each different monster on here has special abilities. So if you're playing as Ravazan, he has Bloodlust Ghoul. Whenever Ravazan or an enemy allied with Razvan inflicts at least 1 damage on a hero, gains 1 bite token. So he does come with 12 of these bite tokens. Which one side's a 3, one side's a 1. For each damage suffers away. When a hero has 5 bite tokens on their sheet, they draw a card from the Bloodlust deck. So he's going to have a special deck here. During their activation, inflict 1 damage on an enemy. Otherwise, they automatically inflict 1 damage on another hero within 3. If there are multiple heroes in 3s, choose one of your choices. If there are no heroes in 3, he suffers 1 damage. So what this does is Razvan or any ally with him, basically he turns his allies into vampires. Then if he bites you, you become a vampire. And then now every turn you either have to suck blood from somebody else by damaging them, or damage an ally, or if you can't do anything, you're going to take damage yourself. A Bloodlust card can be discarded if the hero visits the church during the rest phase by paying the florins, as you would in Ingress. So you can basically recover from being a temporary vampire. Look at the Bloodlust cards in just a minute. I just want to check the other characters. So we have, if you play as the Chimera, as the Cult of the Chimera, whenever enemies of rank 1 or 2 on the battlefield inflict at least 1 damage, roll a die and apply the effect according to the astral symbol. Poison, bleed, stun, or nothing. So his thing is he's just going to end up having random status effects applied if you're playing with him as the monster. If you want to fight Arachne, the big spider, child of the spider, hero ends your movement within 2 spaces. An enemy must perform a physical test and obtain at least 2 successes. If the test is failed, the hero gains a hindered token. If the test does not obtain any successes, they also gain a poison token. So it's basically being attacked by a bunch of spiders. And then the Mechanical Golem, which is not a hunt monster at all, but it's cool we get to use him. He has mechanics. At the end of its activation, if the Mechanical Golem discards 1 damage for each enemy within 2 spaces. In addition, if the Golem attacks at least 1 enemy within 3 spaces, it gains 1 damage. So neat. This would be a cool thing they can even adapt to some of the other characters eventually over time. So this is what that mission is going to look like, right? So you're going to have heroes. The monster is in the middle. Enemy draft 1 monster for each model in the 1 and 1 for the 2. But now you can draw stuff from any factions. It's kind of a fun little extra promo mission. Yeah, so you have you guys start on either side. And then they have some other event stuff at the bottom. Now, there is no loot for winning this, though. Unfortunately. But one thing that could protect, it's just kind of like fun little side mission. We do get his event card here, so it says you'll add Night Stalkers to the thing. Just an extra challenge to do. Here are his stats. So if we are fighting him, he's listed as a mercenary. So might end up having to fight against that as well. Yeah, 5, 5, 7. So it's just 15 health, so a little bit better. Pierce, Bleed, and Vampirize. Vampirize is just, he's going to give you that card. He has Charge and Fly. Very interesting. And then he also has a draft card. So we can draft him into any game as replacing a monster as a mercenary. So he can replace any group, which is cool, as a monster size. So that's really fun. We can add him into other stuff as well. And then he has his Bloodlust deck. So what does these do for us? So this basically are kind of neat because they give you additional effects. So this is kind of a thing is, if you fight him, you could get bitten at some point. You probably will. And now you can go heal, or you can have to suffer the potential consequences. But if you do this, this is what it costs to heal: is 1 gold, 1 Raglar. So they're a little bit harder to heal. But it has Mistborn. Once per activation, you can avoid 1 enemy reaction attack. For Superhuman Force, you may use a double-handed weapon as one-handed. Endurance of the Dead, gain 1 health. Dark Powers, gain +1 to your mental. Wolf form. The first time you use a movement action during your activation, that action costs 1 less, up to a minimum of 1. Predatory Sight, gain +1 to your sight. Vampiric Strength, take 1 to your physical attacks. And Gift of the Night, gain the Fly Steal. So it's kind of interesting because it's like, you're not going to gain an equipment, but you're going to gain a cool ability. But the thing is, well, you have it. Yeah, visit and paying the cost indicated on the card. So it's just paying the flooring, which is only 1. So I wonder if you have to pay the reagents too. Interesting. But yeah, it's just kind of neat. So instead of gaining a new equipment or armor or relic or item like that, artifact, you could gain a cool special ability. But then the thing is, well, you have it. Every turn you either have to damage someone, or you're going to hurt one of your allies, or if you can get far enough away, you can take your own thing. Some guys could probably heal themselves enough that it's not a big deal. But it's kind of an interesting risk-reward type thing. But yeah, definitely a neat idea. Alright, for our next one, we have Ashes issue number 10 for the 10th anniversary. So in this one, we are going to get 1 card. We are going to get a brand new companion. So we are going to get Nero. Now, there's no miniature to go with this. Nero is from Black Rose Wars, the original, or he will also be in the box set for the upcoming 2nd revised edition. But yeah, it's just kind of neat to add some of the companions from the Black Rose Wars games. I can see even adding some more of them would be really neat. Rather than trying to make them all full heroes, because that's a lot of work trying to come up with like 5 abilities for each different class. But adding them here as like companions kind of gives them kind of be a neat way to like reutilize all them characters. So he has 5, 1, 2, 4, and 5 lots of psychic. So you can buy him. He can use Confuse, pay 1, pro him +1. Choosing an enemy within 4 spaces of you, that enemy gains a distracted token. He can get a Sacrifice, +1, upgrade this attack, gains critical placing advantage token on one of your spells. And he can gain Focus. Place 1 lucky token on one of your spells. So kind of interesting. So he's going to basically like mess with what's going on, which is also odd because I think he's supposed to usually be the destruction magic. So I'm surprised he doesn't have more. I thought he had more destruction stuff. But his attacks and stuff down here at the bottom, he has the Shawl for a weapon. Attacks range to 3, does weak and hinder. Staff of Confusion, artifact, your psychic attack with your target, gain crit, target gains a stun token, and if he does this, Fireball is Omnia's spell. Cost 4 has a spear range of 4, so it's going to go 4 spaces forward and puts 2 damage on all models in the area, burn. Which you're seeing Fireball spell with Rebecca, so it's just kind of neat though that they added that in there as well. He kind of gets the same idea. So very interesting. Alright, that's all we have for his, but very cool. I would love to see more cards. Again, I keep thinking about how to, personally want to create some characters, get a lot more crossover, and this might be the simple way to do it without having to try and create a full hero class for them. Although some of them might be neat to do, but it's also some of it, you don't have a lot of information on each character, so to try and create a full class might be really hard. Alright, we have another quick one from Ashes number 6. We have a crossover with Runar. So Runar here gives us a brand new miniature, Hindi. Who is one of the, I believe that's what his name was. Oh, Helbingi. Sorry, Helbingi. Who obviously uses a playable character in Black Rose Wars, but for this game, he becomes an enemy that kind of runs on. So he's a mythological enemy. A little bit bigger guy as well. And he's again another one, if you buy, you have to build. But Runar's kind of like the Asgardian Viking era snow stuff. So we got this guy's a Cryomancer. Electric immunity to negative statuses. Gives you some reagents. He's a second ranked guy. 8, 2, 6, 6, and he's 7, so a little less health. But yeah, he's trying to do a psychic attack with a cross area, so he's going to cast like a cold spell. That's why he's hindering you. Otherwise, he'll hit you up close and he'll hinder you as well as devastate you for 2 damage. So pretty neat there. And then we get his draft card as well. So you can draft is replace a myth character, which means the primeval characters. So yeah, it's just an extra fun little promo if you want an extra villain to add in there, kind of like Razavin. So really neat. Then we have one last book to go through. And that is, we have issue number 7, which is going to add Cosma. So Cosma is going to have promo 1. So it actually should have been before Razavin for that. But he has a promo 1 campaign, which you're going to be fighting him. He's basically a Cosma de Gukenboss. So he's like a hunt mission you're actually going to do. So there's a full mission you can do, but then he also has a hunt mission where you can fight the hunt thing. Or like you're playing him as a hunt mission, I should say. Yeah, so kind of we have another hunt just gets added in there. So he'll have his card just says you can add this in there and fight him. And then he'll have his full deck of cards. So now, I don't know why they didn't include one of these or not, but there's his character card, so I might like print this out and put it on something. But yeah, so here's his stats card for that. He has piercing vampirism, so he's also a vampire, much like Razavin. Poison and blinded, vampirism. For each wound inflicted by one of his attacks, Cosma is cured by 2. Okay, so we didn't see actually the date for Razavin, but that's what it does. Push X. If Cosma inflicts at least 1 or more damage, move the target's attack X squares directly in the direction opposite. He lines up at the edge of the battlefield except for 1 unblockable damage for each square they cannot move. So he's going to follow a marked hero first and then a standard hero. Just standard following whoever. Yes, this is a special prey. Now, the only thing I can't show off on here for this is I can't show off the armor card, the Necromancer's hat, because I unfortunately did not come in my box. I do have it on order, so the company's been really nice in sending me one. I just don't have it as of this video. So yeah, he does get 1, but he only has 1 equipment. So you beat him, you get his hat, which is the one he's wearing. I believe the story is that he is, if I remember right, he is Rebecca's mentor. Yeah, I'm not able to compete. I am Cosmo. May have seen me call me the Necromancer. His voice thick and hoarse. As a string accent, probably not from it. I am yet not able to compete with the other Black Rose mages, but thanks to your experience may continue, and I will rise within the school. Okay, so this is actually probably maybe taking place. So yeah, he's not powerful enough or good enough to be able. I think he was. I think Rebecca was his mentor. So when she became a necromancer, she started training him, and then yeah, so then now he's. It's not gonna really work very well. He doesn't have a base on there. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. So he has like some spirits floating around him. Yeah, very neat miniature too, like a bird feather cape on him or cloak. So he does have his hunt deck. So we're gonna go look at this. We didn't look through the ones for the other videos. We didn't look through them, but I'm gonna look through these because this is a promo video. So if you don't want a spoiler for his hunt deck, that's all I have for this video. See you guys next time. Check out the rest of the Nova Aetas, Black Rose Wars, all that cool stuff. Otherwise, we're gonna just do a quick look. Kind of like I did with the bear. I'm not going to read through it all, but he has enhancement. Place up gives him a target and then attacks him. He has another push. Hand of Death. He does some vampirism. Dust to Dust. Remove him from the battlefield. So this is kind of interesting. So that's why he has lots of stuff where it's then They rise, place himself to the target. So what he does is he's kind of using the mist thing to kind of disappear. Roots guys, he can hinder guys in place, remove the soul, places himself in places. Hand of Death. Out of Hell, each round of battle suffers 1 damage. Dust to Dust, he removes himself again. Hand of Death, Swift Sleep, They Arise, Out of Hell, Enhancement, Hand of Death, Enhancement, and Grand Finale. So if you ever play this guy a second time, if you go hunt him a multiple, there's really no reason to, because he only has 1 reward. You gotta shuffle the deck. Or that if you just want to ever fight him like another time in a different campaign, you could shuffle it just to get some different stuff. Alright, but that is what we have for our Ashes crossovers. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out, again, like I said, all the rest of the Nova Electus stuff, as well as Black Rose Wars. Hit me up in the comments. See you guys later. Bye.